I want to get you guys up to speed on a couple of subjects here. So much to go through. I'm actually looking at a list of things that we have to go through in the next. All of this is going to have to be squeezed in within a week and a half somehow. Somehow. That's for you guys, of course. Topics, so that you won't be out in the blue when things begin to shape up, probably in a not so good way. Never feel threatened by these things, and because they must take place. They have to take place. They really do. Right? Things are fuzzy. Things are being narrowed out. And a lot of tracking is going on today. Do you guys know that two rogue bodies tumbled into our solar system last night at probably about midnight? That was strange at best. And it looks like they're traveling at the same speed our solar system is, which means something faster than that kicked them coming into the bottom side of us, the southern hemisphere of the sun, I should say. How they're going to make their passage, no one knows. Because normally objects do not come up from that direction that fast. So they could just, zoom out there. But that means they bypass Jupiter and all these other planets. And it's quite strange because of centrifugal force. Things normally don't maintain that much momentum coming up from that angle, which means we're in a very weird part of existence, a part of creation, you could say, that we've not really been in before. Take note that the entire solar system is traveling through space, right? And all of us are going into a place we've not been in before. So it's not like we've been here before, or we normally stop by this part of space, period. And that's not the case. The entire solar system, if you think of it like one big ball, right? The sun and the planets being within that ball, it is traveling in a very new part of space we've not been in before. This part of space is different than other portions. And not only are we traveling in a very different part of space, but we're also traveling in a weird motion. It's almost like a coil. A coil trajectory is how we travel. So it's quite strange. But we're picking up neighbors, which means there's something close to us. Speaking of celestial distance, that's kicking debris behind us and surpassing us. So some of that debris is going faster than we are, which just messed up many calculations and some theories about how we travel, where we are, and what's actually going on. That just took quite a few theories off the table because it does not match current models. It's brand new. It's something brand new, right? It can be accounted for, yes. Something brand new. And that means there are going to be some unforeseen events that will no doubt take place without warning. I'd say many of them, especially reading the Bible. If you're a student of Revelation, you can see clearly in Revelation, in all the other prophetic books, that we're headed into a time that's like no other. That's a pretty big statement, because for the most part throughout history, things have been on a cycle. Not this time, because the Bible says there's no other time like it, before it, or will be after. So we know it's the culmination of many different things all at one time. And it's going to be one of those momentous series of events that really take their toll on the planet, the solar system. Somebody says, can the pulse waves of energy static cause sudden blisters, rashes, or skin? Well, in a couple of places on Earth, well, more than a couple, yes, they could. In fact, galactic cosmic rays, although they are minimal most of the time without pulses, in certain parts of the Earth, they can be lethal because they're carried right down to the surface. And by the way, there's no life where this stuff touches. There's no life. Now, again, yesterday was a pretty big statement. That was a pretty big conversation about the core of the earth stopping. I don't think that many people understand what that actually implies. That's bad. If it stopped within this week, right? If the Earth's core, the inner core, stopped within this week, you do realize we're on a countdown. We're on a countdown. We're talking about, this is physics, based on physics and fluid dynamics and all the science that goes with a dynamo and the relationship between the Earth and the sun. We're on a countdown. That countdown does not extend 60 days. It does not. It's within a 60-day time frame. That's not good. Not good. I was sleeping good for the first time in a long time. All of a sudden, I'm not kidding. All of a sudden, I heard a trumpet blast that went through my bones, right? Now, I jumped up. Nobody else. There was nothing moving, and nobody else was around me, and I heard a trumpet blast, and it pierced my bones. It vibrated my bones. So I said, okay, that's weird. That's nothing, and I went back to sleep. Well, when I went back to sleep, I could hear a lot of people talking and crying, and I heard kids and parents comforting their kids and people scared to pieces. And they were like, how long does this darkness last? And they kept asking. And then I found out they were asking me. You want to know something funny? They used that name that people call me by. That's what's funny. Now, this dream was before COT. They used that same name. Ask Mike. Mike knows. And then a voice spoke to me when I needed to know, and it said 30 and 7 days. Because I said, I don't know what to tell them. I don't know how long this lasts. And then that's when I heard it, 30 and 7 days. And ever since that time, that's the only number I've been given, 30 and 7. That's it. 30 and 7 days, darkness will last. Because it had gone on too much, and people were scared to death, and it was blacker than black. Children, parents, aunts, uncles, everything was just black. Nobody could see. People were getting nervous. And it lasted. I was told it was going to last 30 and 7 days. And that's that. That was that. That's where that came from. That's the only number I've been given. That's it. Somebody said, what's happening in February? Something twice as bad that's happening now. We'll return to that date. Don't worry. People will be informed. Listen, I'm going to let you guys know something. If something detrimental were ever going to happen, I will not hold back. You guys, you know that, right? I'm not going to hold back. I just want you to know that. I will not hold back. I will publish. I will record. I'll do whatever I have to do to get that out to everybody I can. Quick, fast, in a hurry. I will not hold back. So you're not going to be outside the loop. That's not going to happen. That won't happen. That's what I'm here for, by the way. A very specific time. I'm here for that. And I'm watching some intruders that came into our system. So we'll see what happens with that too. I would suspect some geological changes to take place here real soon. At any time, actually. So don't be surprised if, I tell you what, we're lacking 2 big eruptions. You guys know that. We need pressure relief. If we don't have pressure relief, my goodness, and we have to go over the interior of the earth in detail because of the core, this language about the core spreading all over the place, right? So everybody's going to instantly become an expert on the core of the earth and start telling everybody about the theories. And they're going to sound interesting, but it's not going to make them true. If the core of the earth stopped, I cannot corroborate that yet. I can't do that because of certain things. I just can't corroborate that yet. I really can't. But we should go over what will happen, what the probabilities are, right? Because if it has, the countdown is on and it will not extend over 60 days. You hear me? So if the core stops within a 60-day period, some pretty hefty things will take place. Land destabilization is going to be one of the notable ones. Eruptions will follow. Lots of eruptions. Not just one, not just two. You're talking about magma starting to penetrate more places than anybody would be comfortable with, right? That will also displace water. That happens when magma starts bubbling up in places. The water has no place to really consolidate in those areas, and so it spreads out large areas. Plus the rotation of the earth, that double wobble would have changed. And I've been tracking that. That would kick off some very deep instabilities. Somebody says Yellowstone. I would be worried. There are bigger things in Yellowstone. There's a general rule I go by. It's honest, because how many times have you guys heard that Yellowstone is going to erupt in 24 hours, but it did not, right? Now, while they were waiting on Yellowstone, you have a host of other volcanoes that can actually end life for quite a few people, right? If those are mapped out, you'll understand why Yellowstone is not the priority. Now, certainly if something happens in the vicinity of Yellowstone, you have to take that depth in consideration. And that's been the problem, because they've had lots of earthquakes, but nothing breached, right? Lots of earthquakes, nothing breached. Now, but on the West Coast, we have a lot of ancient volcanoes waking up. They're showing life signs. That's not good. They're all going to wake up. So there we are. And some of the biggest volcano, one of the biggest volcanoes in our solar system is right here on this earth. And I'll say it again, it's called Tamu Massif. That's the name of it. I know they try to downplay this as much as they can. That is the most dangerous volcano on the face of the earth. Tamu Massif. And it is not dead. That is one of the biggest volcanoes in the solar system. Hope you guys understand it. Not on Earth, in the solar system. Okay, you got that? Tamu Massif. Somebody says Hawaii. Hawaii relieves itself too much. I'm not really worried about Hawaii. That's an ongoing process. It's like Hawaii is like a gallon jug of soda, but the top is already off. So if you shake it, it's just going to come out, right? That's already predetermined. What's dangerous is when the cap is on there and is glued on pretty tight. You shake that gallon of soda up, right? But the top is still on, and you continue to shake it. And it can only take so much pressure. All that pressure released inside that gallon container. If the gallon container is not strong enough, right? Or if the gallon container is strong enough, but the top is not, it's going to blow that top. When it does, it's going to be very, very violent. So you're looking at a high altitude ejection. And we need at least two of those from the ocean. Badly. One in the Atlantic, because there's a brand new landmass starting to rise. One in the Pacific. Hawaii's out of the question because it's already opened. It's already opened up. We need more relief, magma relief, because if we don't get it, some of the bigger earthquakes are going to begin to hit. And that will be a tragedy, right? We're going to have this stuff anyway, right? I'm just giving you guys some probability of what if we had more volcanic eruptions, earthquakes would not be as dangerous as they are about to be if we don't have any volcanoes. So we need some eruptions. Or we're going to be in trouble. There's far too much pressure building up, and if the core has stopped, it's going to build up even more. Because now the striations they're all over the place. But we'll follow up on this and make it all clear. Is Tamu Massif driving the Pacific evaporation event? No. No, it isn't. That's actually coming. If you look at some of the heat that's coming from Japan's volcanoes, right? Not necessarily Tamamassive yet, because Tamamassive is deep. Tamamassive is more like a cap over a sewer, right? That's what Tamamassive is. But you have these Japan's volcanoes, right? You have underwater volcanoes that are right there in India and in Russia and all these other places. They're actually starting to heat the land masses. That's why that permafrost is leaving so fast. You have things waking up, or the magma activity underneath the water is very active. So there are lots of contributors to this. We also have external contributors to this. There was a stream that sustained itself for about a couple of days, a stream of radiation going right to the earth, and it was heating up one part of the earth, causing the Arctic flows to alter big time, right? And that will continue to be a sporadic thing on the face of the earth, because they have changed once again. We're going to have 2 weeks where it looks like weather patterns have normalized, and then it's going to go right back to chaotic again, because we already have some sort of an anomaly, right, at the South Pole right now. And that will continue to heat up that way. All this is happening inside of the planet. All of it is. The same reaction that you find in the sun, we have a similar reaction inside of the earth. And things are really ramping up. The earth is being overcharged right now. So it takes a bit of a graph or demonstration, some good people to really demonstrate that. So everything is understood. But things are certainly changing fast. And I'll do my best to stay on top of those things. I truly believe that will affect you all, because I don't want to see you guys caught off guard. I don't want to see that. Lord knows I don't want to see that at all. So it pays to seek the Lord and have your ears open to him. The warnings have already gone out. They have. The problem is, so long as you have people that speak in contradiction to those warnings, you're not going to know who to trust. Right? The East Coast, by the way. The entirety of the East Coast is a trouble zone. Who would believe it right now? Does it look like a trouble zone? I mentioned something about the East Coast 10 years ago. And it kind of went through one ear and out the other. I mentioned it since then, but there's no proof. Unfortunately, for the East Coast, when the proof comes, it'll be too late. There'll be no time to make any adjustments. And that's how things will work. That's why you have to have your ears open to Christ and be led of the Spirit of truth for your family's sake. When you really want to know something for the sake of your family, then open your ears to the Most High and let him give you your answer. He will not fail you in that. But we can't turn to the Lord and then in our minds say, well, he's not answering fast enough. Let me go get it from so-and-so. Just keep those things in mind. The Lord is not cruel, is not a lawyer. That's not what this is about. The Lord will deliver his own. He most certainly will deliver his own.